All right. Excited to see how he does at nationals. It's a good speech. Strong. All right. We've got 2 more speeches, the next speech is a duo interpretation. You're going to have 2 students, and this is a funny speech. We've got a duo interpretation, and our last speech is our state champion. This is humorous in turn. So, something to look forward to. I want to introduce Hayk, Kosaian, and Sammy Linkowski. They're going to be doing Elliot, Allagash. It's a humorous story of friendship and popularity and status at school. And so this is just like DI, or humorous interp or dramatic interp, except that 2 students are going to do it. And the only requirement is that they cannot touch, and they cannot make eye contact with one another. Okay, so in that sense, it's not acting; it's interpretation. Okay, so you're going to see how they move around that. So they are the Reading Valley champions. Took first place in a convincing fashion. In fact, there were 7 finalists at the Valley Championships. 6 of those were from University High School. 1 from Clovis North. Guess who won? All right, so, and that's the first time, in fact, dual interp's not one of our best events. They broke us in a very convincing fashion. So, Sammy Linkowski and Hayk, Kosaian, come on up.
The thing about Elliot is that he's different from most boys. He's rich.
Very rich.
Glendale Academy was the only private school on the East Coast that would even consider taking Elliot as a student. He had gotten himself expelled from more than a dozen top-tier schools. By the time I met Elliot, his offenses included drunkenness, unprovoked violence, hiring an imposter to take a standardized test,
and vandalism.
He was 13 years old. And on my way to 4th period leadership class, he kicked me down the stairs.
Bang! No!
He kicked me on purpose in front of a lot of people.
Now, it's strange that we crossed paths.
But it's even stranger
that we became best friends. It was Walter Winchell who once eloquently noted, "A true friend is one who walks in, while the rest of the world walks out."
Seymour is a bit of a misfit.
He's not the strongest,
or the smartest,
or the fastest,
or the tallest. But he soon meets a friend, Elliot, who would change his life forever.
Elliot Allagash.
By Simon Rich. Most students treated lunchtime as a social activity, but I prefer to think of it as a kind of contest, the goal of which was to see how many chocolate milks I could drink at one time. I was working on carton number 3 one afternoon when I noticed that Elliot was sitting right beside me. He had no food in front of him, just a large black notebook.
What's wrong with you?
What do you mean?
Why are you so unpopular at this school? I mean, you got about as much money as the other children. You're overweight, but not drastically. I mean, some of your classmates, they're actually obese. What is it?
Well, a lot of reasons.
For instance?
Well, for instance, I'm not so great at sports, especially basketball.
You mean to tell me that status is determined by athleticism here?
That's a big part of it. People don't really care about stuff like money at Glendale. It's more about how cool you are and how good you are at sports.
Is that what you really think?
What are you working on?
See, it's a status index. I'm trying to chart everyone's position. That's you. At the bottom.
That is way off.
What, you think you should be higher?
No, that part's right, but the rest of it needs support. Like Lance should be much higher. You didn't even put him in the top 5.
Here, fix it.
All right, but Elliot, can I ask you something?
Yeah, what is it?
Why'd you push me down the stairs?
Amusement. And research purposes. See, I detest the extent to which they discipline me.
Yeah, why did you decide to push me?
In order to standardize the experiment. Abusing you seems like a pretty common offense around here.
I guess that makes sense.
Now, let me ask you a question. Has anyone ever told you that money trumps everything? That nothing else in this world matters? I could buy you all the popularity there is at this school. Huh. Yes, with a little well-placed investment and some good research, I can make you a king. Yes, brilliant. Admired by girls, respected by boys, feared by all.
What would I have to do?
Everything I said.
We began immediately, starting with Elliot hiring a private basketball coach named Vlad.
Yeah, See you there. Well, how is he?
He's not bad. It's not how you say hot. Yes, it's not hot.
This isn't about feelings, Vlad. I'm paying you for victory. I'm literally paying you for victory. You training the team enough.
All right. To be honest, it is not going to be easy. This kid looks like he's never played the game before, or even seen it played. And it's not just his skill level. He is a total mess physically. The way he runs, it's crazy. When he first ran onto the court, I thought he was making some kind of joke. But he wasn't. That's actually how he runs.
What's it gonna take?
I'd say minimum 2 hours a day, plus strength and conditioning, but just before the fundamentals. Yes.
Got it.
I'd been training for months, but what if it all ended in disaster? The only thing that calmed me down was the sight of Elliot. As hard as it was to imagine myself succeeding, it was even harder to imagine that Elliot could fail.
A minute before the bell rang, Mr. Hendricks gave me an opportunity to address the entire class.
I know everyone is excited for basketball and cheerleading tryouts! But before we go, we have a quick student announcement. Elliot!
Thanks, Hendricks. See, every year, 3 dozen inner-city youths fall victim to asbestos poisoning. I have created an after-school program devoted to fighting the terrible epidemic. Being the president, I, of course, will need a secretary for administrative duties. And the student that you deem most worthy for the position gets the job. Thank you.
I didn't know you were starting a club.
I'm not.
Hey, Elliot, listen. Even if I don't make the team, I just wanted to say thanks for...
Don't thank me. I'm not doing this out of kindness or generosity. I'm doing this purely
the sport. Okay. But I just wanted to say, thanks.
You're welcome.
In the beginning of the tryout, when I first started dominating, Lance responded with laughter. But then, his amusement quickly gave way to frustration, and then fear. I got past Lance with a spin move, threw the other defender at the pump fake, and landed the three-pointer at the buzzer. Elliot grinned at the stunned cheerleaders, nodded at them once, and then was gone. I didn't have to see the list to know I made the team. A few guys who I barely even knew patted me on the shoulder, and even Lance muddled his congratulations.
I'm not done yet.
What do you mean?
The goal wasn't to get you on some pitiful athletics team. You still have a ton to go.
He got up on the chair and addressed the mass of students huddled around the list. The results for secretary are in, he said, and by a large majority, the class is selected. Me. My new teammates stared up at him in shock.
Now, I know the sport of basketball is very important to you all, but this is a chance to help underprivileged children. I think we should give them a shot, eh?
I've decided... I decided to join Elliot's club. I know the sport of basketball may be very important, but I'd rather make a difference in the world. Did you see the look on Lance's face when he saw I quit the team? My God, it's like I'm too awesome to even play with that guy. Too awesome. I'm too awesome to be on his stupid little team!
You got it, Watson.
I guess there's no asbestos club, huh?
No, but we're still gonna meet 3 times a week.
What for?
Well, to plot our next move. See, we hit the ground running, but we gotta keep sprinting. We're nowhere near the finish line. See, how would you like to be class president?
What would I have to do?
Everything I say.